Welcome everyone to another of our guides to renting ships at no cost. I'm DarkHour717, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we will be taking a look at another great ship that is available for a free rental courtesy of the UEE. We previously took a look at the free rental you can do with the F8A Lightning, and that is a great, amazing, beefy fighter that is not flyable any other way in the verse, and we got to run it through its paces as well as look at all of its stock configuration. Today we're going to be following that up with a look at renting at no charge the Aegis Idris. Before we get into the details though, if you enjoy these videos, hit that like and subscribe button, as it will definitely help get the videos out to more people, and I really appreciate it. And to all of you who have subscribed already, I say thank you. Also, stick around to the end of the video to see how you can get entered in for a chance to win a Drake Cutter starter pack. The Aegis Idris is a military-based frigate that is available as more than one configuration. The Idris M was the original military-designed frigate created for the UEE Navy, larger than a standard corvette but smaller than the destroyers like the Javelin. Used by the UEE for extended scouting patrols as well as for jump gate protections, these ships have proven themselves to be a formidable asset to the UEE. Typically carrying capital class weaponry, the Idris M can also carry in the flight deck 2 medium-sized fighters as well as an MPUV cargo. The initial design created in 2545, the frigate was part of a range of forward-thinking plans to bring Earth's military back to strength after the Tavaran War. Prototyped in 2549, the space trials of the final design looked nothing similar to the initial concept, having grown in size and also had a massive capital class railgun mounted to the bottom of the bow. It came to define the scope of modern warships. Over time though, through hundreds of years, there was found to be a surplus of the Idris class ships, and with the passing of the Surplus Act, it was made available to be sold as a demilitarized and functional spacecraft to the private or public sector, thus creating the Idris P, or Idris Peacekeeper. On this new rendition, the keel-mounted size 10 railgun would be disabled as well as the military-grade targeting systems. The Idris P would forfeit the keel mount for a larger amount of cargo space. Side by side though, the Idris M and the Idris P are still very similar. Now, as there are multiple variants out there, the question is which one can you rent? Well, I'm happy to admit you can get a free rental on the big dog itself, the Idris M, including the keel-mounted railgun, and this is one gun that truly shows no mercy. But if the Idris is still technically in development, how do you rent or even fly it? Well, to be honest, it is flyable, though the interior is non-existent. This means that once you're in, you're not going to be able to explore or walk around the ship, so best to just sit back and enjoy the ride. We are going to go through the process of how you, with some help from some shipmates, can grab one of these amazing beasts and tame it for yourself. First, you're going to want to make sure that you have the proper equipment to pull the rental off. First, you're going to need a person who will be willing to board and incapacitate the Idris, and will need a ship with the ability to eject, much like the Gladius, the Arrow, or the Saber. They're also going to need to make sure that they have with them a grenade launcher with extra magazines, also a tractor beam, and a supply of med and oxy pens. After that, you need your party members that will be manning the Idris, and they'll need either a Nomad or an 890 jump, and these are recommended as they are the two easiest to position in place to get access to the Idris's pilot seat. You're going to want to make sure that you're wearing light or medium armor, and this is definitely best because heavy armor can keep you from reaching the interact point. You're going to need the competent co-pilot to maneuver the transport ship away after you've actually acquired the Idris. You're going to also make sure that everybody that's going to be going in to get into the pilot seat does not have a crime stat, and that's going to be the same for anybody on board the transport ship. And finally, just like the person that's going to incapacitate the Idris, you want to make sure you have an adequate supply of oxy and med pens or a med gun for going on board and getting into the pilot seat. Now, to obtain an Idris, you're either going to go through the Eckhart missions, or you're going to grab the one that's located in Crusader by PO. Now, if you're going to do it through the Eckhart missions, this can be obtained once you're invited to meet Miles Eckhart down on Hurston at the M&V bar. When he offers you the opportunity to stop the Arlington gang, this is the gameplay loop that will complete with a stolen Idris. The mission loop itself is usually 7 missions to go through, all including the Idris, but once you actually reach that Idris mission, this is where you're going to want to not engage it. To get the Idris to spawn at Port Olisar though, you need to arrive with a crime stat 5, staying far enough away from PO to keep them from firing on you, or follow someone in that has a crime stat 5. At times, the Idris may already be spawned there based on somebody's previous visit with a crime stat 5 and it just hasn't despawned yet. But having that crime stat 5 will bring it over to PO for you. Now, once you got your choice of one of those two missions to bring this thing in, you're going to go into either the Eckhart or the PO Idris, and the single player in the fighter is going to fly into under 2,000 meters from the Idris, letting them target and fire on him. And when under 2,000 meters, they're going to eject from the fighter and let the fighter get destroyed. During this, make sure all other party members are well outside targeting range of the Idris, as you don't want them to be detected. Hanging out at an OM point or at PO itself is ideal, and that way they won't accidentally be targeted. You're going to then EVA to within tractor beam range, which is usually right around 150 meters away from the Idris. And then using your tractor beam, you're going to navigate to the rear of the pilot house, and you're going to see that there'll be an orange door on the back side just under the rear overhang. Use the tractor beam to glitch inside, aiming for the right side of center of the door, and ensure once you make contact, let go of the tractor beam trigger, and you'll glide right through the door and glitch into it. Here you will now see yourself inside and possibly taking a little bit of damage. Use your med gun though, or your med pens to heal yourself. Once you do that, you should no longer be taking damage, and you can locate the pilot who is in the front left of the pilot house. You'll be able to see a silhouette of him up there, and that's where you're going to be aiming at. Using the grenade launcher, and only the grenade launcher seems to be successful at this, you're going to kill the pilot. This may take several shots, and you do not need to kill the crew, only the pilot itself. Once the pilot is dead, the Idris does not have the ability to move, and the rental team can now move in with the 890 or the Nomad. No matter which ship is used, caution is needed, as any accidental bumps or moderate hits from the boarding crew will immediately give you a hostile marker, and you'll need to depart the area temporarily until your ship is returned to a neutral or blue state. With the Nomad, you want to have the team member that's going to pilot the Idris in the bed of the vehicle ready to go with the bed open. You're going to maneuver it upside down to the conning tower, and you're going to position it almost perpendicular to the port side of the conning tower and have the bed as flush and far back over the conning tower as possible. Keep in mind, you will want the bed open. The person who's going to be piloting is going to then walk through the bulkhead of the conning tower where the front glass meets the port side glass, and you're going to glitch into the ship and look up and you'll see the pilot seat. You're going to want to highlight on it, and if it shows as an interactive enter, you can definitely click it, or you may have to jump spamming the mouse button to try and get it to activate. Now, the Origin 890 jump is the other ship, and for me, if you have it available, it is a bit easier to get in the right position. Once the Idris is disabled, you can move the 890 in upside down and over the Idris perpendicular from the port side of the Idris. Move the 890 slowly until the conning tower is over the front gravity pad or hangar deck, and before moving in, ensure that the hangar deck is in the up position. And it's best not to ride the elevator up when the Idris is above you, as it can crush you if you're too close. Once the conning tower is near flat on the hangar deck, ensure the limiter is at 0 and shut off all engines by pressing I on your keyboard. At this point, the person who's going to be taking over pilot of the Idris is going to EVA out one of the rear docking ports and proceed up to the hangar deck from outside of the 890. You're going to land and cross the gravity deck to the port side of the conning tower, where the front meets the port side glass, and walk through the superstructure. You're going to walk forward till the pilot chair is just above and forward of you, and using the interact, look for the NRC icon. With the 890, it's very possible that you won't even have to jump to interact with the seat. If you do not see the inner seat move around, as it more easily appears on an upward sloping angle than looking straight up at it, and once you're in your seat, you have command of the Idris, and you can have the 890 co-pilot slowly maneuver out of the area. Now, once you're in the Idris, you'll likely have limited time. We have seen this last for anywhere from an hour up to 2 hours before it despawned itself and left anybody on board floating in the vastness of space. You're also going to be flying solo on there, as populating any of the manned turrets is too time consuming to really be reasonable. Though your friends may not be able to join you, there will be an entire NPC army full of turret gunners. These turret gunners live only to serve you and go after whatever is red or that you target and engage. The Idris itself actually handles extremely well for its size, though best to stay within the system that you obtain the Idris. If there's really a lack of missions, You really want to try to quantum no further than any place to Hurston. The quantum on the Idris is extremely slow and is a 2-stage quantum. When not going across systems, the Idris has all the functionality of a normal ship as far as landing gear, VTOL, and limiter control, though no open or closed exterior is operational on the ship. The ship, when you get low on oxygen, will need to be flown down into an atmosphere, much like Microtech or another hospitable area with breathable air to replenish the air inside and your suit. Also keep in mind the Idris, much like the F8A, cannot repair, restock, or refuel at any port or station. Now, the difference between the two variants are minimal outside of the large gun on the Idris M. Both ships are classified as a combat with a focus on heavy forward warfare and defense. The capital class size ship, and it measures 233 meters in length, not including the railgun for the Idris M, which will add about 13 meters onto it. The width is going to be 126 meters. The height is 46 meters. The Idris M has a cargo capacity of 831 SCU and 995 SCU on the Idris P. Outfitted with all capital class components, its minimum crew is 8 and a maximum crew of 28. And its SEM speed is a whopping 45 meters per second with a afterburner speed of 1,462 meters per second. The internal hangar on either one of these models is going to be able to accommodate 3 size 2 ships. Now, as far as weaponry, the Idris M does have a single size 10 destroyer mass driver, otherwise known as railgun. It also has one size 9 M5C STS turret, one dual size 7 M9A cannon, 3 dual size 7 M3C ASA turrets, 6 dual size 5 CF557 Galderine laser repeater turrets, and 4 dual size 4 Revenant ballistic cannon turrets. This also carries 10 size 5 Stalker torpedoes, equivalent to what you see on the Harbinger. Now again, the Idris M is the military variant and is much more heavily outfitted for fighting than the Idris P, but where the Idris P comes in with the extra cargo, it's still no slouch when it comes to the ability to fire some weapons. It has 7 dual size 5 CF557 Galderine laser repeaters, 4 dual size 4 Revenant ballistic turrets. No missiles are listed as part of the Idris P, and you would think that this would be far less intimidating without the size 10 mass driver on the front keel, though Aegis has a solution for that with the Idris K conversion kit. This will take an Idris Peacekeeper and convert it to the Idris K. That will add a forward keel mounted size 10 Exodus laser beam, forward facing anti-ship missile launchers that can add up to 16 size 3 missiles of your choice. While the Idris P and Idris K are not in-game or rentable, the military version is, and a lot of fun to try. Taking the Idris out, you can take on several service beacons as well as other missions that spawn everything from hammerheads to more Idrises. And we did discover that if you take on another Idris, 2 shots and you can have that thing done and over with, if you land them properly. The main gun on the Idris M is an absolute force to reckon with, and if you land a shot with this, not much is going to survive. It does have a charging capability to allow for more powerful shots, and after each shot does require a short recharge time. The NPC turrets will fire upon whatever you may target, and this ship can deliver the pain in almost every way possible. As a pilot, you can still also shift the capacitors from shields to thrusters and to weapons, though there's a lack of MFDs that will be able to indicate where you're at any given time. And this does bring in some minor inconvenience, such as the quantum modes. You'll need to work quantum from the sound cues alone to know when you're, and with no MFDs to see the Idris's health, it is helpful to have teammates that can check your stats periodically. For the most part, you will be unstoppable to most any NPC missions that you take on, and you will be most susceptible to other players or your own mistakes in flying. I absolutely recommend, if you get the chance to give this a try, that you do so. And if you're a solo player and need some help, hit us up on the Discord. We'll try to help those that need it to get a chance to fly this absolute beast of a ship. I hope you enjoyed this look at how you can rent an Idris M and take it out on a test flight. Let me know what you think, and if you had the chance to try this, or even the F8A Lightning. You can also catch the stream here on YouTube every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or over on Twitch every Tuesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, check out the merch store or hit that join button above for a membership to the community. If you would like to get entered for a chance to win a Drake Cutter starter pack, just subscribe and comment on any video here on YouTube. You can also get a second entry by heading over to Twitch and giving a follow over there. We'll draw the winner on January 1st, so good luck to everybody. I do want to say thank you to everyone for being here and checking the video out, but please be safe out there, and we will catch you in the verse.